Hi, my name is Ian Wong, and I'm a licensed financial planner. I'm on a mission to promote financial literacy among my fellow Malaysians, and I most definitely defy limits.
Starts in moratorium, right? There is this withdrawal from EPF account to 500 ringgit a month. You know, for the sake of our viewers, let's just discuss this. Is it wise for someone to do so?
Okay, withdrawal from EPF is whether you need it. I would say at the end of the day is whether you need it or not. Don't take it for fun. This is EPF is your money. EPF is your money, and you're just allowed to take it out a bit earlier. So if you are taking it out because you need it urgently, then sure, right? You need it. It's no longer a profit loss kind of thing. Is that you need it. But if you don't need it, then why take it out? Because EPF has proven to be a very, very solid sort of investment instrument.
Investment, yep.
You know, putting aside all the political stuff, okay, the management of EPF has shown that it's got a pretty good head screwed on, right? So they do very well, and it's very safe there. You know, your money is safe, right? So I would say no reason to take out this 500 to invest. 500 is also not a huge sum, so it's mostly to alleviate your financial burdens. And of course, the worst situation is you're taking out just to spend for fun. In that case, you say, oh, I can't touch my EPF money until 55, so I want to enjoy it now. Take a 500, then don't do that.
That is discouraged. Yeah, for the viewers who are watching, that is discouraged. Okay, okay, I'm looking at the comments. So let's answer Eddie's question, right? Okay, shall I invest less in funding societies since SME payment default risk is higher now?
Okay, well, it's a very specific question. So for the benefit of for viewers who are not familiar with what funding societies is that you invest there and they hold capital, which they then loan out to SME companies in the form of you can consider them like a micro loan of sorts. Okay, so you're making returns from SMEs by loaning that money. So Eddie is basically saying that, you know, since that SMEs are having a tough time, they may not be able to pay back. And since they may not be able to pay back, then your money is at risk because you're lending them money, right? I would say that the thought process and the logic behind it is very sound. So if you feel that you know, SMEs are not doing so well, and then to be fair, there has been quite a lot of real news that SMEs are having trouble. That's why we have a specific SME stimulus package announced recently, right? So yes, then you don't want to be exposed to that risk. Then try to, you know. But if you know, you've lost some money already, and you feel that, you know, that of course SMEs will pick up after this, right? Everybody will suddenly, you know, oh, business coming back in, everybody's going to work harder, no money, right? You know, then you could see that boom as well. So, you know, so it's whether you want to tolerate that risk. It's kind of like how, let's say if in the stock market, you know, this, let's say this COVID-19 hit this region first. The world has not experienced it as a whole yet. So you kind of anticipate, look, okay, so I think when it hits the world, or if it gets bigger, worse, then things are going to get bad. So you pull out your money out of the markets, and then you just wait, right? So if you have the foresight to think about that and to do that before you face any repercussion, then yeah, sure, okay, take out the money when it goes down, put your money back in. But if it's already dropped, then you need to ask yourself, do you think this will still have high potential later on? Because it already dropped, you pull out, then you lose whatever you lose. Like it's like as if you invest in the stock market. I think this can go along the same lines for people who are in the stock market. You've already made that 40% drop, that 30% drop, right? Now you're thinking, right, oh, should I pull out or not? The question is whether how long you want to invest for, and you shouldn't ever invest for super short terms. And whether you believe that whatever has gone down can come back up. So if you just look at the US market, okay, and without going into too much detail,
Okay.
there are a lot of companies there which are you would never think would have sales problems. Things like Apple, things like Coca-Cola. I'm not advocating to buy. It's not an advocation to buy. No, but you just look at them and you say like,
What's the disclaimer here?
Yeah. Basically, I've kena
Oh.
sued. But anyway, so yeah, basically, let's say if you look at these and then you say, are they going to stop? Say, are people going to stop drinking Coca-Cola because of COVID-19? No, I mean you lose the revenue from a lot. Yeah, you lose the revenue from a lot of our eateries and whatever lah. So temporarily it's a drop. But let's say you were invested there, you didn't pay attention, you just enjoy life, and suddenly you notice your stock is down 20%. Is it going to make back money? Yes. So no problem. Just hold. But if for example, you are investing in a company, and because of COVID-19, the company is on the brink of going bust, then you better pull out your money. So you got to kind of think of it that way. Is whatever you're investing in, are they still going to make money or not? Or are they not? But if you are in a situation whereby you are preempting, you have not quite lost money yet or haven't lost too much, and you don't want it to drop further, then it's also reasonable to take out your money out and hold cash, wait for it to drop further, then go back in. I guess in the same things when it comes to directly answering these questions. If you feel that the current climate for loans for SMEs is not so solid, not so good right now, then don't put it in, right? Then put it in later when things recover or things are starting to recover. In the meantime, put it into something which has been suppressed and you want to grow. Again, cannot recommend any specific things.
Okay. Yeah, so I think a lot of this need personal judgment, and if you want to know more, you can always find Ian. So after this interview, we will put the Facebook page, contact links for Ian at the comment section so that more of you can reach out to Ian. I think
so
a lot more can
any of you,
talk one-to-one. Yeah, sure.
If any of you have any questions that were not answered, or if you are taking some more charge of your finances currently, you want to have some guidance, then I think like Hugo says, right, my Facebook page will be in the link, my business site, and you can just drop a message there. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I think that's the easiest way lah. Then later on we can decide how you want to discuss. And nowadays everything has to be online or through messages anyway. Yep.
I'm sure you have been doing a lot of consultancy online this couple of weeks.
Trying to lah, but with the nature of a client-facing business, there's nothing that replaces a human touch lah. You see, there's a bit of funny thing when it comes to finances lah. Okay, so if you want somebody to manage your finance, you put their financial future in their hands. You will want to sit in front of them, get a feel of them, drink coffee with them, eat lunch, and you see how the person is first, right? But then for let's say for if you were to travel by airplane, the pilot has your life in his hands, right? You don't say you want to interview the pilot first, right? So it's a little bit different lah. Okay, again, hope no pilots are tuning in.
There is actually another question by Ashley, right? So Ashley, thank you for staying with us. You are very active this evening. Do you recommend taking out EPF for investment?
General answer is no. EPF is of a certain risk class, so it's something which is very low risk. It is more or less for most people your primary stabilizer. Remember I said we have to have a stabilizer portfolio and then your growth portfolio. So your stabilizer, the primary aspect is EPF, is a big chunk. And that's why government rather it's like law says that it's compulsory for you. Rates are dropping over the long run. Okay, so there of course their concern is there, but 4 or 5% is still quite solid for something that you cannot lose money. So I would say if you were to take money out of EPF to do an investment, usually it is unit trust. Usually lah. You are taking from your left pocket to your right pocket minus fees plus risk. So I find that unless your EPF is a huge, let's say your whole portfolio is worth 1.5 million and EPF is 1 million of that 1.5 million, then yeah, it makes sense. You want to diversify, shift out into something else. But your EPF is normally not as big of a chunk of your portfolio. Even if it's like 50% of your portfolio, I think is quite a solid section of it. Then you don't want to increase the risk of your portfolio, minus the fees that you have to pay, the 3%, and that this money can then lose. You can lose that money. So I would say normally don't. EPF has proven to be one of the long-term, quite consistent performers. Right? Even though the rate, like I say, it is dropping. The same for Amanah Saham Bumi Putra, the ASB also the rate is dropping. But it is still pretty good. I mean, let's say a high 4% or a low 5% is still fantastic. Yeah, remember the single digit. Yeah.
Yep. I think there is actually they are legally bound to give you a certain percentage, probably like 2.5 to 3 minimum.
2.5 is the correct answer. EPF is supposed to guarantee 2.5% minimum.
And I think on average, like what you say, right, should be around like 5%, 4-5%. So it's actually
no guarantee. Times are good now, or rather, times have been good the past 10, 20 years, right? So it's but last year it dropped to the 5-ish. This year we don't know because very unprecedented. You may end up with 4, may end up with slightly less than 4 as well, but at least 2.5. Yeah, and you look at the fixed deposit rate is now between 2.5 to 3. Unless you put last year, then you get 4. But yeah, it's about there anyway.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on other asset classes, right? For example, on gold and silver, precious metals.
Let's answer that from the point of view of commodities as a whole. Okay. Gold will always have its value intrinsically for just being gold, but you see the price will fluctuate. But let's talk about more of commodities. I would consider them normally higher risk than stocks. In a stock, when you are investing, you are basically saying, I think this company will make money. My risk is, can they make money or not? If I think they can, I buy the stock. If I think they cannot, I don't buy the stock. So the risk is whether they can go up or not. That is your risk. But when it comes to commodities, you can talk about things like palm oil or silver or things like this. Can you really say that the price wants to go up? You can't really say that. Some people want the price lower. Some people want the price higher. So your risk is then twofold, right? You're not sure whether it's going to go up or down. Then you end up having to do what they call trading. And trading is always inherently very risky. And you have to stare at the monitor every day to see the prices.
If you have the time.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the time. So I would say normally commodities, probably not so. Unless you really believe in a certain commodity, then normally what you want to do is get a managed fund. There's a manager who manages the fund investing in a certain commodity. It can be unit trust. It can be a structured fund, whatever it is. But you can have somebody who manages. If you really believe in certain commodity, then they are the ones staring at the monitor and doing your trades for you. Yeah, but I say normally when you want to invest, the word invest means to put your money somewhere where that value can grow, where you feel that there is value. And inherently, the commodities don't have a sort of, they don't increase in value per se. They're just there. They're things and items. Whereas companies can make more profit, they can expand, they can diversify and things like that. And so that's where you invest. Yeah. No such thing as don't speculate. Don't say, so and so is now the whatever position, and therefore his company will make money.
I think I'm not sure how long ago, probably like a decade ago or something. There are a lot of precious metals like gold bugs around, right? They have been like hoo-ha on the gold.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of scams following suit and things like that. But generally, there is a belief that they are some sort of like an insurance, a hedge against our currencies. What do you think on
that? If you want to hedge against currency devaluation, and I think that is a valid concern, especially with the Malaysian ringgit, then it's okay. Some amount, don't put everything there, okay? And generally, it should be gold, because gold holds value much better than anything else. So if you're doing it to hold value, then there's gold. Currency inherently, of course, has risks. You can always buy the one of the more stable currencies of the world, also can. Okay, but generally I try to avoid trading in currencies, because what happens is that you never know where it's going to go, who's going to manipulate it, and what's going to happen. Political scenarios changes and things like that. Like what 1MDB did to our ringgit, plus other stuff happening. We went from 3 ringgit to $1 to 4 ringgit. Not quite recovered, right? But things like that, yeah. So if you're doing to hedge, then to hold your value, then sure. Another popular strategy among clients for wanting to hold, instead of doing gold, what they will do is they'll move their money into Singapore dollars. Singapore dollars has proven to be very, very resilient in terms of just movement. There is some movement, of course, but there is proven to be quite resilient. And of course, the monetary authority has a huge surplus, so they are quite protected versus anybody trying to move their price too much.
Okay, just now Ian has been talking about gold and silver and different currencies. Same time, Ian mentioned something about value, right? And that from one of our viewers here, Kevin Lum, if you are watching this. So Kevin has a question about what about Bitcoins? So Ian, what do you think? Let's say in our portfolio, right? How much would you allocate for cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I have some friends who they themselves run sort of companies that are very into crypto, and they are super advocates of crypto.
Yeah.
But as a financial professional, my answer to crypto is don't do it.
Okay. What makes you say so? What is your perspective?
Okay, if you are buying it because you know there's a certain value in the technology, the blockchain, and I don't profess to be an expert about this topic, but let's say you know that people will be into Bitcoin, for example, if more people be Bitcoin or any of the other cryptocurrencies, because the technology will expand, and therefore they will be worth a little bit more, then okay, I guess. But if you look at the majority of why people had invested in Bitcoin, why Bitcoin had the boom 2-3 years back, is not related to that. A lot of time, a lot of the talk about Bitcoin was that, you can kill the banks, bypass the banks. It was a lot of anti-establishment talk. When you can transfer money across country without having to pay exchange rates, right? Exchange, you don't have to worry about this. It's anonymous. You can't be tracked. Because if you are a holder of a large amount of money, you want to move it to another country, bank negara will know that, right? So all these things we talk about. So if you distill all of that down, it's basically saying Bitcoin appeals to me because it's unregulated. That was the big appeal about it. It's unregulated. It's not tied to any bank. It's not regulated in any way. So okay. Now, if you feel that that is the value and you want to invest, then that's why a lot of people may have gone in and they were like, oh no, this is the latest new thing. But we have to think this is a currency. Okay, it's not literally a coin, but it is a currency that is being an unregulated thing being used in a regulated environment. Right? So our environment are regulated by all these banks, right? They control how much money is in and out because they need to control that. And of course, the most important thing is that countries need to do this thing called tax, right? So if now you are putting in something that cannot be taxed or has difficulty being taxed, cannot be traced, so you run a lot of anti-money laundering, and money laundering is a huge thing, especially in the financial industry. I have to go through every year some courses on money laundering. Malaysia is actually part of what they call a financial action task force, a lot of money laundering. Right? So you can't track this, so you have money laundering problems, especially since Malaysia is now also known for like some terrorism financing, right? So you have these situations here. Do you think the regulators are going to allow it? The answer would be no. And that's exactly what has happened. Bank Negara said, no, we don't accept this anymore. There was this story about this hawker store which accepted a Bitcoin and so forward thinking, and all the news were praising it, and then the Bank Negara issued a letter saying, boom, no, right? So not allowed. You have big tech entrepreneurs I think the US come out and say that, Bitcoin is not going to grow. So as a currency itself, I would say I would not recommend you investing in it. But if you really believe in it, you know something that I don't, which is very possible. You know more about it than me, let's say. Then put some money there. Put money that you know that if you lose it, it's no big deal. So you've done your stable part of your portfolio. You've done your growth portfolio. And now you want to have your speculation portfolio. Let's say 5 to 10% of your portfolio. Where money you lose also never mind. Sure, no problem. Yeah. But if you're thinking about it being as like, this is the next big thing I want to invest, then think twice about it. So I don't recommend it. Most people have not done the full portfolio yet, and then they want to go straight to there. It's like, again, like saying, I want to just do my one frontman striker, and then don't need the rest of the team.
True. I think there is a need for very holistic planning. A lot of people are jumping onto trends. I think it could be gold, and then I hear things about Forex. Then we hear things about Bitcoin and whatsoever coin that is coming out, right, as sequels.
So Hugo, can I just add on regarding, since you mentioned Forex, foreign exchange, trading of currencies. This is very popular, especially among the younger crowd, because it's where, if you are lucky, you can actually make quite a huge profit, double, triple digits, things like this. I just want to say that this is very risky. And number two, it is mostly, a lot of them are illegal in Malaysia. So you ever go to change money, let's say you go to money changer, right? It will say there, licensed money changer. Why? Because you need to be licensed again to facilitate the exchange of currencies. So if you look at the platforms for Forex that most people tend to do, they're always based in some other country. You can put money there easy. You may make returns, but to get your money back, sorry, problem, wait a few months. I have personal friends and clients who have also faced that. They make a little bit of money, they want to pull out, takes 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. So I would say avoid Forex. First of all, you need to stare at the monitor to watch things. Somebody can do it for you, of course, but do other stuff first. Let's, I guess, put it back into the football game analogy, right? If I were to ask you who Cristiano Ronaldo is, right, everybody knows, right?
Yes.
If I ask you to name me a defender, for somebody who doesn't follow football, ask you to name me a defender, you'll be like, who is? Don't know. But you will know all the fantastic strikers. It's the same way with investment.
Yes.
You know, you are excited about all the high return stuff, right? And so you are attracted to that, but you forget about the rest. But to really play the football game, you need to make sure you have the other players. So you have your portfolio very well managed. You need to make sure you have your stabilizers as well. Cool.
Yen, are you there? Oh, okay. Our line is back. Well,
Okay.
for the viewers that are watching, let us go through a bit about what we have discussed so far, right? So Yen began the section with talking about the scope of financial planning. What is actually a licensed financial planner? How is it different? Then we have actually gone through a lot of asset classes. We have gone through ETF, a bit, Amana Saham. Then, of course, we have gone through gold and silver, crypto, and we just spoken on Forex. Of course, we have also gone through the some of the new MCO moratoriums or EPF withdrawals that are available. What should we do with it? What is the cost versus benefit analysis? We have talked about youth bankruptcy. We have talked about misconceptions on finance. And right now we have another question. So now we are actually going into property. I guess the money topic is really interesting for a lot of people. So Kevin here asked about, how about buying house, condo or top lot?
Okay. Property, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how we miss property. It's such a popular topic, and everybody wants to do property. I don't
Exactly.
know how we miss property. Okay. Let's say if you want to stay. If you are going to stay in it, then it's not considered an investment. Okay? Because you can't sell the place you stay. Right? So generally we don't consider investment. So as long as you like the place and you can afford, you want to stay there, fine. Okay. So that we move that out of the topic first. So now we talk about investment. Shop lot or condo or residential, how it is. You have to think about it like a business. right? Because normally you buy, what happens is that you want to make money from the thing. You put the money in, either the value appreciates or you're getting rental. So as a business, you have your costs and you have your revenue, your profit, if any lah. Okay, so you need to make sure that it makes sense to you. Let me explain this further. So if you buy let's say a condo, okay, you buy a condo lot and it's in this high density condo area lah. There's some quite nice sort of buildings. They were very pristine looking, but it's like 100 floors or whatever it is, some ridiculous amount of units. And you just need to think, you will be one unit in this 500 units here, right? So first, how do you make money from property? You either sell at higher price or you rent it out. So if, let's say again, a 500,000 ringgit property, your repayment is about 2,500 ringgit. Okay, property size maybe between 600, 700, 800 square feet. Maybe there's like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 2 bathroom, things like this. Okay, so now, how likely are you going to be able to rent this out? You are 1 out of 500. Okay, what makes your unit special? Why will somebody choose your unit to rent? Which then comes on the point of, are you something very unique? You are the only one in the whatever 88th floor, number 8, whatever. Okay lah, maybe. But the price to buy that property also will be different, right?
Yeah.
But so if you're the same and you're competing with everybody around the same style and same situation as you, then what happens? That's going to suppress your rental. So you want to rent, you have to rent out cheaper, which means every month then you bleed money. So let's say your installment plus management fee becomes 2,007. Your rental is 1,007. So you negative 1,000 every month. So every month you burn 1,000. Okay. Why would you do this? You will burn 1,000 because you think, okay, in the future my property price will go up, so it's going to appreciate. So therefore, I'm willing to spend this 1,000 a month. Hopefully, the returns on that sales will be bigger than what I spent. Okay, good. That's a good mindset.
Okay.
Then you look at current market, right? Property price from 2008, let's say 10 years ago, 2010 until now. What's changed? Right? It's more or less the same. I think you can ask people in real estate. It's more or less the same. They'll tell you market's very bad.
Yeah.
The price is staying because people have been told invest. There's a very big Asian culture into property. They told you need to hold.
Yeah.
Okay, so they hold the price. So buyers cannot buy. So there's a big glut. So if you wanted to sell, and buyers know that, look, you just walk around in malls, in housing area, condo, whatever, you can see so many empty, right? This excluding the very high demand areas. Okay, so many empty. They know I can choose from the 50 units, right? So you lower your price, but people don't lower the price, right? So then the buyers want to increase. So then you have a problem. But anyway, coming back to the property size. So the property price, the price of the properties has remained roughly stagnant, if not appreciating a little bit. Okay, on paper. But if you want to sell to somebody, they see all the 10 units empty. Again, untapped your unit is 88 on the 8th floor, right? So then you have to reduce your price to sell, because everybody is trying to sell. You want to sell, you have to drop price. So now you have sold at a lower price than what you bought potentially, right? Or if you even sold at break even, you bought at 500, you sold at 500. Okay, but you've been burning 1,000 every month for the past 3, 4, 5 years. Most people will sell after 5 years because of the taxes, right? Yeah. So then how is that an investment? You spend money to lose money, right? So in that situation, I would say, don't do property. Okay, so property can be a good investment, but you need to be smart. You need to think about it. Can you rent it out? Okay, of course, cash positive is the best. Where every month your rental is more than your repayment. But in current market, unless you're in a very, very niche area, which normally is more expensive, it's very difficult to get. If you want to talk about whether it's going to appreciate, then you need to have some information, research to know that this area will boom. It's all a risk. It's a very heavy risk as well, because property is a very big price. So you say, okay, I know this new housing area is going to appeal to the mass affluent, people who are a bit more well-to-do, upper middle class. And you say it's going to be a very high traffic area. People are going to desire to stay there, and I want to buy there now. Okay, so you have this knowledge or this thinking because of your research, no feeling on your research has shown this is going to happen, then you want to take the risk on whether this is going to happen or not, then okay. But you must remember your property is a huge capital outlay. So if you do this one thing and it doesn't work, then you're stuck. I'll give you an example from history. So in the 1990s plus, right, before KLIA was sort of built, the I think Mahathir said like the KLIA was going to be in Rawang. Okay, so then all the developers rushed to build this area called Bukit Beruntung. Okay, I'm not sure why they call it Beruntung, but I guess they were thinking along the lines of Untung a lot. Okay, but I don't know for sure. But so they built this place, and there were houses, semis, whatever, going for like 500,000-600,000 in 1990s plus. That's a huge amount of price, right? A huge amount for a house. And if let's say the airport did come up there, okay, then they would have made a killing, right? Because everybody wants to stay next to the airport, expats to buy, or things like that. Okay, but last minute, Mahathir said, "Oh, we do in Sepang instead." Okay, now all these properties already have been in process of being built, have been sold, and in Malaysia we have a very, very bad system of dispensing the whole loan amount before the completion. Then you have problems whereby the developer and all these things like that. But anyway, so people have paid the 500,000-600,000 for this piece of land in the middle of nowhere. Okay, not really middle of nowhere, but more outskirts. Okay. Without the uniqueness of why it costs 500,000-600,000. All right, so you've lost that value. The thing that made this location special is no longer there. So then they were stuck. Nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to rent. You're paying every month, right? And if you got caught in that, your finances are more or less gone for the foreseeable future for that. So even if you do know, let's say something is going to happen, some people nowadays like to, I think maybe like 5 years ago, the speculation, MRT station coming up here, so I want to buy the area. So if you see it's starting to build, okay, maybe more sure. But if you speculate, then risky. So it's whether you can take the risk, number one, and number two, what are your returns? So coming all the way back to our question on whether shop lot or condo, then I would say, if you feel that there is demand for the rental, right, and it's in an area that has good traffic, because for shop lot, you have to think about it a little bit one step further. Okay, yes, demand for rental, but two, is there customers going to come to patronize the shop or not, right? So if you feel that is the case, then you can go for it. If you feel that, so there's no, I feel that in current situation, there is no one way to go about it. If a condo is in a high density area in the middle of, not high, it's a low density area, high demand condo in the middle of, let's say, Mont Kiara or whatever, then you can be sure the demand will be much better than if you are in a further out, right? Same with the shop lot, right? If you're buying a shop lot in Bangsa, it's different from buying a shop lot in a mall which has 2 floors empty, right? So things like that matter. So as long as you feel that you can get the rental and you feel that the demand will continue and will grow, then it doesn't matter which you buy.
So Kevin, I hope that answered your question on whether going for condo or shop lot. I think for a lot of our viewers over here, let me see. Yeah, I think most of them are very young looking. For property, right? Let's say for someone who is looking at their first property, I think a lot of questions they have are like, should they rent or should they buy? What are some of the criteria that they should look at? Because that is probably one of the largest purchase they are going to make in their lifetime. What are the common mistakes?
I think this comes back to whatever we just discussed. If you want to buy it for an investment, then it has to be a very, very calculated decision. You really have to think based on your capital outflow, your costs, because you have to remember things like you have your stamp duty, your legal fees, your loan fees, things like this. Can you get the return or not? It is an investment. So you must have some degree of knowledge whether they can or cannot give you that return. There's no such thing as property is always going to make money. And that, unfortunately, is the prevailing
Perception.
mindset. Yes, the perception in the majority of Asian culture. So right now, we are no longer in a situation whereby property are guaranteed to make money. Because people saw property made a lot of money, they build a lot of properties, so now they are, we have too many. Yeah, but if let's say you do know, or you do feel that there is a high chance that the property in whatever area is going to have high demand for rental, and the demand will only grow, which means somebody will want to buy it from you in the future, then yeah, I guess that's okay. In terms of the question of coming back to this more, I think more accurate is the rent or buy, right? To rent or buy.
Yeah.
This is not so much to do with investment. It's more of as personally for you as a property by yourself, for buying your property to stay. Should you buy or should you rent? If you like the place and you can afford it, buying is better, because you always want to own the place that you stay. All right. If, however, there is no perfect place that you want, or no place that you feel you really want or can afford, rental is significantly lower. So don't go and stay in a place renting 2.5K a month. I would say then you better to buy lah. Okay, but if your rental is about 1,000, 1,500 like that thereabouts, then rental is okay. Part of financial planning, other than having your capital in your bank or investments, the other part of the formula is you must have your home paid for, or you must have your roof over your head without worry. You mustn't worry like, oh, if I cannot pay for my home, then what happens to where I stay? You mustn't worry about this. So part of financial planning, financial freedom, we say, is normally you must have the home. So buying a home that you want to stay in is a very good choice. As long as you can afford it within your means and you like it, it doesn't matter. You can stay wherever you like, doesn't matter, right? But for investment, it's a different situation. Right? So in terms of buying or renting, it's whether you plan to stay. So let's say some people say, I'm going to work in Penang for 2 years, and then I'll come back home to KL. But KL is always my hometown, so I will come back to KL. So when you are working in Penang, unless you have some fantastic opportunity, I would say rent, because you can come back to KL. Right. In terms of buying your home. But if there's a very good investment opportunity, somehow you have some insider knowledge or whatever, and some really cheap whatever, then sure, buy a property. No problem. Yeah. So home and investment, two different sort of thought processes. Home is a little bit easier. It's whether you like or don't like.
All right. Okay. I think we are going to skim through a bit on the next one, which is actually on stocks, because we have some earlier questions that we received, right?
Okay.
So I think the question is this the best? Is this a good time to invest in stocks? If yes, of course, we are not going to recommend any stocks here tonight. But what kind of sector should people look at? Is it the good timing?
Timing is generally a dangerous thing to do because nobody can predict the future. Right? So you never know the perfect time. If you get the perfect time, it is usually by luck. So you have to realize that the market is going to go down, right? It's going to go down. We are down already. It can go down further, or it can, sort of recover now. I would say if you want to invest, you need to be willing to hold for at least 5 years. At least, I would say so. Ballpark figure lah, okay? 5 years. Nothing short term, because we don't know how long this is going to recover. It could be fast, it could be long. Again, nobody knows, and anybody who professes to know, I think is not giving you the true facts lah, okay? But, okay, so because it's going to go down, and it may go down further, right now your question is basically, I want to go in to invest because I feel like there is money to be made. Feeling a bit greedy, like, oh, it's good timing, okay? Be careful. Yes, this environmental condition is one of the most conducive for making returns in the stock market. That I will definitely say. Yeah. So you need to have a strategy for investing into this current market. You cannot just go blindly. So the strategy, which I would say the simplest strategy, again, you have to match how much effort you want to do, okay, is what they call dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging means basically, in short, you put a little bit every so often. You can put every 2 weeks, you can put every 1 month or things like this. Normally it's 2 weeks or a month you want to do. So every month or every 2 weeks, you put in some money into whatever stocks that you feel have value, Okay, so we come back to value. Again, we don't recommend any stocks in particular, but you need to ask yourself, this company, are they going to make money? Are they going to continue to make money? Those are the two questions. If you feel they're going to make money, if you feel they're going to continue to make money, right, then, and because the price has been suppressed because everybody's scared right now,
Yes.
then that's a fine stock to go to, right? So then you just don't lump sum put everything in. You put something every month for the next 6 months and so on. I would say the market won't have an upturn until you feel that. Let's put it this way: if you read the news on the current numbers of COVID-19 and all these things happening, you read the news and you feel that no big deal lah. Things are getting okay. Usual lah. You get that feeling, then it is a sign of that it's going to have a little bit of an upturn. But if the numbers are getting worse, people are getting more scared, then it's just going to continue going down. So that's kind of how I would judge when the uptrend is going to go. But again, you never know exactly when. Okay, like the same way nobody can expect this. Yeah. In January, everybody was saying this year is going to be a very good year. Right?
Too bad they're disappointed.
Yeah, and then in February, boom, gone. So yeah. So put a little bit over time, alternate every 2 weeks or every month. If things are dropping very fast, every 2 weeks, every month is okay. Same amount, don't put huge unless somehow you see it upturn or whatever. But I would normally say it's safer. You want to put as little mind effort into it as possible. So every month into a stock that you feel is going to make money and will continue to make money. That's the most important.
Okay, I think for some of our viewers, they are not only looking at the Malaysian stock market, but also the US stock market. So personally, do you look into the US stock market as well?
Okay, so I have to say this a little bit. I guess I don't advise on stocks particularly because that is a whole different ballgame. There's a whole different sort of professional advisors on stocks and things like this, which is completely different license. But I would say my own personal investments, I do look at the US market because I feel that is one of the more fair markets. So this one basically is like, if the market is more fair, then it's a more true reflection of the value. Whereas other markets around the world, Malaysian market included, you have a certain aspect of political and manipulation risk. So if you will have some of that, you can still make money. But I find that the US market is a lot clearer, and when piece of news is announced, they all kind of react very fast. And you know that the major indices, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, you know that the companies there, you just look at the list of companies there, they are all fairly solid. They are going to definitely recover after this. So it's good to, if you put money there, then it's going to, it will go up for sure. Just how long to go up, it's for sure to go up. So it's how long can you hope. So if you invest money that you don't need urgently, or money that you don't need to see for a while, then I don't think you can go pretty wrong with that. Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Okay, so I think we have been with Ian for over an hour and a half. So before we come to the very end, right, Ian, perhaps you can share with us some of the mentors or gurus or books or podcasts that you personally look up to or recommend to our viewers. Yeah, what is your favorite book? Let's start with that you want our viewers to really read up on it. It will be good for their financial education.
For personal finance, I feel that personal finance is actually quite straightforward. Is that there's no sort of complicated book that you need to read in terms of management. Now, if you want to invest in stocks, there's a book to invest in stocks. If you want to invest in property, there's a book for investing in property. So those situations, you go and read the books. I think there are a lot of gurus. Read a good perspective, and then you get to have a feel. But in terms of just financial planning as a whole, I think it all boils down to your income and your expense. So if you can manage this well, you have got more than one foot in the door. So a lot of my work is trying to help people to sort of manage this cash flow. Right? So cash flow, I guess, is king. So if your cash flow is very strong, it's very good. And at the end of the day, cash flow is, you don't need books to know that you need to save. No book is going to help you to eat out less or to have less coffee in cafes and stuff and nothing like that. So you just solve this problem. Then after that, if you want to talk about investing and what you should invest in, then you can read books on putting your money in certain more specific assets. Let's say you want to do a low risk investment strategy, you go read a book on that. Personally, I have developed a lot of my styles and systems that I've used through my experience through financial planning. I didn't read somebody's book and then sort of follow it. So that's why I don't know no particular book they follow. But if you want to invest in stocks, then read that. If you want to invest in the other side, can I just answer one question on my side? There's from Andrew that is asking, what is a target wealth when you retire at age 60? What should you aim for? If you want to do a capital preservation strategy, okay, then the idea would be you want to have at least 10 times of your last drawn annual income. Okay, 10 times your last drawn annual income. You do the mathematics at, let's say, 5% rate of return. You should generate your living expenses year in, year out. Because let's say your annual income is 100,000. Usually, you spend about half of it on living expenses. And that's the most important thing for retirement. So half of it spent on living expenses. You times 10 annual income, 5% is is the half a year, basically. So 10 times of your annual income should be able to sustain you. Of your annual income at retirement. Okay? But again, there are two caveats to this. One is that you must maintain the quality of life, the same standard of living. If you're used to traveling twice a year, don't say now retirement, travel 5 times a year, then it's not going to work. Right? If you are how do I put it, unable to achieve this target because it's quite a high target, then you have to do calculation based on depletion. But try to get as close as possible. Right? If you're in the very luxurious situation whereby you have more than 10 times of your annual income last drawn when you retire, then your lifestyle at retirement goes up. So I guess that's the best situation. But the benchmark should be about 10 times. And this is not even including inflation and all these things like that, because that complicates matters. When you calculate inflation, then your return has to be higher. You have to have more.
So can you share with us one of the more memorable case that you have took on? Perhaps a memorable client or certain challenges that you have helped him to solve.
I guess that I have two these things to share, basically. There's one which is the biggest shock value, biggest like whoa feeling, and one whereby it's the most memorable experience with the client. Your camera keeps dropping. Yeah. Okay. Okay. For the most shock value would be that when I did a consultation with the client, and she's a little bit higher net worth, and basically I looked at her assets and whatever, and then I looked at one of her stock holdings, and we calculated the dividend yield over the past 10 years and stuff like that, and we calculated how much return she needed to make to maintain her lifestyle. So she needed to have a return of about 4.5% per year, okay? And then so she has a portfolio, some doing less, some doing more. But the stock was performing at more or less, the price had not moved that much. Of course, there had been a profit already, there had been a good profit, but the dividend yield was maybe about 1+%. So, and of course, the market wasn't as good. So I basically told her like, this one you can, because you only need 4.5% to sustain your lifestyle. So I told her you could pretty much sell your stocks and then you just put it into either a fixed deposit at 3% or whatever. Then you sort of from 1% to 3%, right? So then that would be good. I say a simple strategy. The next morning she texts me, okay, so I was like, wow, so fast. so everything already. So I found that a little bit quite not say shocking, but it took me aback, like, wow, so fast. And it's not a small amount of stocks, it's huge amount. So I was like, oh, okay. But I guess coming to talk about who I find the most memorable, I have a client whereby when I met her, she was in quite a bit of debt. She had a bit of a family issues as well. She had to take care of kids and so on. And basically, when I first met her, we settled her cash flow. She was in the process of recovering from I guess a bad divorce and things like this. And we couldn't do any investment at first. All we did was we just managed cash flow. After 1 year, then we put in her basic insurances. Okay, small bucks, like maybe just under $200 a month. And she had found a reasonable job. Okay, so from those two, then she started, and then 1 year after that, then we started to build her investment portfolio. And right now, her finances have more or less completely recovered. Her cash flow is good enough that she can support her family, and she has insurances, all right, a reasonable one for herself that she doesn't need to upgrade. And she has her investment portfolio, small but consistently growing, and she's consistently feeding it. So I would say taking somebody from so far, who's like things look so grim into completely switch. This is probably one of my more satisfying experiences with a client, where you can actually really see the change, and you can see the change in their demeanor. The first time we met, a bit down on life. And then now very jovial and starting to enjoy things in life and do, taking part in our hobbies again and stuff like that. And I think there's something which is cannot be put into financial or terms or even words per se. It's just a feeling that we get from having helped someone like that. So that would be probably my most memorable experience with the client so far.
So with this, for our viewers at home, for those of you who feel like you have pressing financial issues and you want someone to look into it, if you are whether you are in a very terrible debt situation or you just need someone to strategize how do you going to reach your financial goals, right? So I think Ian would be a good person for you to look out to. And as I've mentioned earlier in the interview, I will put Ian's contact and Facebook pages in the link below, so you can drop Ian a DM and find out more about what kind of services he actually provides. So Ian, I think we have been doing this for like 2 hours.
Yeah, almost there.
What is your final message, right, to all the viewers who have been watching from the beginning until now?
Final message, right? I guess
we
all know how important, or rather we kind of know that finances are important and when we should do something about it. But sometimes we are scared to see how things are going, scared to face that we may not be able to achieve our goals. But at the end of the day, if you start now, it's better than starting later or better than starting tomorrow. And there's no magic to finance. You need time to grow the money, to save the money, to manage. It's not something instant. So the more time you have, the easier things get, right? And nobody can be expected to have to keep your finances as important, or rather to treat your finances as important as yourself. So the finances are going to be, you are the one who, at the end of the day, is the prime person to take care of it and to do it. So if you don't do anything, then you are doing yourself a disservice, right? You are basically saying to yourself that, to your future self, that you are, handicapping him or her. And I would say that it's not a good thing. So start now. Best time to start is yesterday. Second best time is now. The saying.
True. I mean, just like the quote you mentioned at the beginning, right? If you fail to plan, basically you are planning to fail.
Correct. Yes.
So start now, people. Okay, so this whole video, for the viewers who are watching, we are going to touch it up a bit at a higher definition, and we're going to re-upload this in our page. So do follow the page to stay tuned and to check out Ian's higher definition video that is going to come soon, probably in the coming week. So once again, thank you to Ian for joining us for the past 2 hours. I believe we learned a lot of different perspective on how to analyze the costs and benefits of various approaches. There is no one-size-fits-all answer for everyone. And that's the reason why you probably can look out for a planner or a consultant to help you to brainstorm on strategies to achieve your own financial goals. With this, Ian, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Take care and good night.